Thank you very much indeed. I'm Anthony Finkelstein, and I am a computer scientist and university president. Until summer of last year, I was the UK's chief scientific advisor for national security. And I'm going to talk a little bit about intelligence equities. And this is my first opportunity to talk about that. And really, this is the start of my investigation of a sort of larger agenda, because what I want to do is introduce scientific rigor in intelligence decision-making. In other words, I want to build an analytical theory of espionage. So I'm going to start with a quick story. The People's Republic of Sylvania, Red, so we'll call them Red from now on, is seeking to undermine the neighboring democratic and sovereign state of Fredonia, Blue. Red is covertly funding an insurgency, as well as promoting front organizations that are mounting campaigns to distribute disinformation aimed at disrupting the forthcoming elections in Blue. Relations between Red and Blue are understandably extremely sensitive. It is assumed, but not known, that the Red Ministry of Foreign Affairs is responsible for Red's active measures, the campaign of disinformation. The Blue Intelligence Service has found a vulnerability in the software that Red uses to share secret documents. The software is widely used in Red and in Blue and beyond. This vulnerability is, however, unusual and deeply embedded. Blue have also developed a capability to exploit this vulnerability, a software payload that must be deployed on Red's infrastructure, which is well protected. In fact, it's air-gapped. The deployment of that software payload is dependent upon an agent, a person, placed within the Red Ministry of Foreign Affairs. That agent is able to insert storage media and possesses administrative software privileges, but has no ready access to intelligence themselves. It's also dependent upon a technical capability that allows Blue to exfiltrate data, get data out across that air gap. This technical capability is very sophisticated, relies upon novel physical principles understood by Blue scientists. The exfiltration capability is used in all of Blue's most sensitive accesses, including an access that allows Blue to read the email in the office of Red's great leader. Red possess a strong security and technical counterintelligence capability. They are aggressive and will exploit vulnerabilities in Blue. They have a good understanding of Blue, and it is assumed penetrations that will allow them to identify changes in Blue's protective and defensive stance. In other words, Red know how Blue itself is protecting itself. So the technical and operational leadership of Blue, the Blue Intelligence Service, have to meet to decide whether to use this equity. So in essence, we have an asset that is composed of two parts: knowledge of a vulnerability and a capability to exploit that vulnerability. how do we decide when to deploy it? After all, we don't know what intelligence of value it might secure. The moment we deploy it, it becomes more likely to be discovered. If we hold it, it can be closed without us ever having secured the intelligence. If we act upon it, we again speed up the discovery of it. If we patch it in our own systems, red discover it, yet we need to leave it. Need to leave it open. So how do we do this complex decision making? Could we have models from decision science that will enable us to gain insight? So can we have an analytic theory of espionage?